Akash, Raisa Gali, Sarang Prem. Okay, let's start. Okay, sir. Second module, CSA 405. It's regarding processors and memory hierarchy. Processors and memory hierarchy. So these are the main content. First, we're discussing about design space of processors. Okay. This is actually I have a diagram for representing design space of processors. I will show you. This is the diagram. Here we are classifying different processors. We will name it later. Here I have scalar processor, super pipelined processor, very long instruction word processors, vector supercomputers. Actually, we are placing those processors based on their cycle per instruction, which means how many cycles they are required for executing one instruction, and with the clock rate, which means speed of the processors. By identifying cycle per instruction and clock rate, we are placing these processors like superscalar processors, RISC processors, and very long instruction word processors in this domain or in this space that we will discuss. Then we are discussing regarding different instruction set architecture. We are familiar with the complex instruction set architecture, reduced instruction set architecture. Those architectures are we are discussing in second module. Then these two terms like very long instruction word and superclar processors. This is a new concept that we are discussing in the last part of second module. And finally, we have vector and symbolic processors. Symbolic processors, first time we are using symbolic processors for working with the artificial intelligence problem. Artificial intelligence, we are working with big domain. We have to work with more data. We have to process some symbols and all. There we are using symbolic processors. One by one to discuss here. Okay. So coming to this diagram, you have to write one side heading like design space of processors. Design space of processors. Raisa and Anaga. I will see for screen okay. Like. Anaga, Raisa, Anjali, Vaishnavi, Vishnu Vinod. Okay. Here you can see a graph or a diagram which representing cycle per instruction in x-axis and clock rate in y-axis. Okay. And we have one circle here. This circle indicating our mostly likely future process space, which means our process will comes under this area, which means their speed clock rate starting from 20 to 1000. Starting 20 means it is a slow speed we know, and 1000 means it's a fast processor. So speed will be starting from 20 to 1000. Then we can identify the cycle per instruction. Here it is 0.1, which means we require only less than one clock cycle per instruction. Detail using one clock cycle, we can execute more than one instruction. Thereby, cycle per instruction is less than 1. And we are going to 5, which means in order to execute some instruction, we require more than one clock cycle. Our design space, we are classifying different processors in between their speed. Clock rate starting from 20 to 1000 and their cycle per instruction 0.1 to 5. This area we future design all processors. Okay, clear out here. So we have some architectures. CISC architecture is there, super pipeline architecture is there, scalar RISC machines are there. Very long instruction word architecture is there. Supercomputer is there. Reduced instruction set computer is there. ഇതൊക്കെ ഇപ്പൊ ഇൻ ബിറ്റ്വീൻ നമ്മൾ ഐഡന്റിഫൈ ചെയ്തു. ഇതൊക്കെ നമുക്ക് ഇതിൽ പെടുത്താം. നമ്മൾ ഫ്യൂച്ചർ ഡിസൈൻ സ്പേസിൽ പെടുത്താം. We are classifying it based on their cycle per instruction and clock rate. ഇനി ഓരോ ടേമും പറഞ്ഞാൽ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ബാക്കി കാര്യങ്ങൾ മനസ്സിലാവില്ലേ? We will discuss about what is scalar processor. We will discuss what is very long instruction word processor. We will discuss what is RISC machine and system machine and all. ഈ ഒരു കോൺസെപ്റ്റ് ക്ലിയർ അല്ലേ? Design space of modern processors will be based on their clock rate starting from 20 to 1000 or their cycle per instruction between 0.1 to 5. Clear? Abhinav, Anil C. Paul, Baby Srishma. Now we are going to listing out those different processors, starting with the CISC machine. So write a side heading CISC, complex instruction set computing. We are discussing about complex instruction set computing architecture. Here I am only giving a brief introduction to CISC. Finally, we will go for the complete architecture. Okay. So you have to write first point, their typical CPI, which means cycle per instruction. It requires minimum one cycle in order to execute one instruction. Maximum it will be 20. So when we are considering a complex instruction, name itself indicating complex instruction, it is working with floating point operation, division. So in order to perform a complex instruction, it may require nearly 20 cycles, and minimum in order to execute a simple instruction, it requires one cycle. So typical cycle per instruction for a CISC machine will be 1, and maximum it is 20. Okay. Then we have a clock rate. It actually indicates speed of the processors. It resides between 33 to 50 megahertz. 33 to 50 megahertz. Then you have to remember one point. It is an example for microprogrammed control processor. Actually, we have two controller organization. First one is hardwired control organization. Second one is microprogrammed control organization. So CISC machine is using microprogrammed control organization, which means in order to generate control signal to perform different operation, we are using some instruction which is stored in control memory. There we have a control memory. There we are storing different micro programs. These micro programs are used to generate control signals. Anaga, ormayundo Anaga? ABC. What is microprogrammed control organization? Microprogrammed control organization.
കറക്റ്റ് ഓർമ്മ കിട്ടുന്നില്ല.
Devika, have you heard the term microprogrammed control organization? ഓർമ്മയുണ്ടോ? ഇല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒന്നുകൂടി പറയാം. റൈസ ഖാലിദ്, ശ്രദ്ധ. അന്നക മൈക്രോ പ്രോഗ്രാംഡ് പറയണോ? അഞ്ജലി, അതുൽ, ദേവിക. Okay, Raisa, thank you. Okay, that architecture is working with the microprogrammed control organization. And example for CISC processors include Intel i486 M68040 VAX machine. Just note down cheyidolu. Intel machines 486, VAX 8600, then IBM 390, etc. are the example for CISC machine. CISC machine. Okay. Second category, we are coming to RISC machine, which is reduced instruction set computing. Examples include i860, Spark, IBM RS6000, MIPS, Alpha, ARM, etc. And we can see that their cycle per instruction is minimum 1 and maximum 2, which means it requires very less cycle per instruction. It is executing very fastly. Their frequency is from 20 to 120, and it is using hardwired control for control organization, which means we have two options. Either we can go for microprogrammed control. RISC machines are hardwired control. When we are going for hardwired control, it is fast in execution. എന്തുകൊണ്ടാണ് control signals are generated through a hardware. നമ്മൾ already hardwired ചെയ്യുന്ന circuit ആണ് control signals generate ചെയ്യുന്നത്. So they are fast in execution. Microprogramnekal fast ആണ് hardwired control. RISC machines are using hardwired control unit. And their typical CPI, cycle per instruction, between 1 and 2. അതായത് അതിലൊരു ഇൻസ്ട്രക്ഷൻ എക്സിക്യൂട്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടി മാക്സിമം നമുക്ക് 2 ക്ലോക്ക് സൈക്കിൾ മതി. ബട്ട് ഇൻ ദി കേസ് ഓഫ് സിസ്ക് ചിലപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് 20 ക്ലോക്ക് സൈക്കിൾ വേണ്ടി വരും. ക്ലിയർ? അദ്വൈത്, ശ്രദ്ധ, വിഷ്ണു, ഷഹലായൻ, റസാന, നിഹാല. ഓക്കെ, ശ്രദ്ധ. Okay, Rasana. Then coming to super scalar processors, they are super in nature. Super scalar processors. So identify it is a subclass for RISC processor. It is a subclass for reduced instruction set computing processors. Then which allow multiple instruction to be executed simultaneously. Multiple instruction to be executed simultaneously. First one, I am executing one instruction. After completing this instruction, I am fetching next instruction and executing. Then I am going for next instruction. This is actually an order indicating sequential execution. After completion of one, then I am going for two, then I am going for three. This is a sequential order execution of instruction. But here I am saying superscalar processor supporting multiple instruction to be executed simultaneously, which means simultaneously I can execute 3 instructions here. Then I can execute another 3 instructions here. This is the example for explaining superscalar nature of superscalar processors. It can execute multiple instructions. So it is clock rate is as RISC machine. So clock rate will be 20 to 120 megahertz. Clear? In the case of superscalar, it is a subclass of RISC machine and clock rate around 20 to 120, and it can execute multiple instruction per clock cycle. Clear? Raisa, then Adarsh V, Neha, Pranav A. Okay. ഇതിൻ്റെയൊക്കെ ആർക്കിടെക്ചർ നമ്മൾ ഡീറ്റെയിൽ ആയിട്ട് പഠിക്കും. സോ ഇപ്പം ടേബിൾ ഓർത്തിരുന്നാൽ മതി. Then coming to very long instruction word architecture. Very long instruction word architecture. So name implies the instruction length will be 256 to 1024 bits per instruction. 256 to 1024 bits per instruction. Normally, our RISC and CISC machine having instruction length 32 bit. In order to perform an operation add, the instruction size will be 32 bits. Then, some instruction include 64-bit instruction. But here I am saying, in the case of very long instruction word architecture, instruction will be 256 to 1024-bit instruction. So, namakku manasillavum, they require a large number of registers of large in size. They require separate memory because word length is maximum and instruction length is maximum here. Okay, that's regarding very long instruction word architecture. And here we have an example, i860 RISC processors are example for very long instruction word architecture. Okay, then VLIW implemented with micro-programmed control. So in order to generate control signal for VLIW processors, we are using micro-programmed control unit. Okay, we are discussing about very long instruction word architecture, which means instruction size of that architecture will be 256 to 1024 bits per instruction, and their clock rate is slow. Clock rate is slow means speed actually slow. Then it is using micro-programmed control unit for control signal generation. And example is i860. It's an Intel processor. It's a RISC processor, which means reduced instruction set computer example. Okay, clear? Please respond. Advait, Ajmal, Anjali. This is just an introduction. We will discuss the architecture later. Okay. Adil, Devika, Dilna, Masna. Okay, Masna. Then last 2 points regarding super pipelined processors and vector supercomputers. So regarding super pipelined processors, we know pipelining means, suppose this is an example I have drawn earlier. It's an example for sequential order execution. If it is in pipeline, which means we can execute instruction in this manner. Continuous execution of instruction is takes place in pipeline order, that we will discuss later. The structure of pipeline we will discuss later. You have to identify that in the case of sequential, operation take place after complete execution of first instruction. Sequential angle, next instruction will execute only after completion of first instruction. But in the case of pipeline execution, one by one ആയിട്ട് സീക്വൻസ് ആയിട്ട് ഉള്ളതിനേക്കാൾ സ്പീഡിൽ ഫെച്ച് ഡീകോഡ്, അത് നമ്മൾ പറയും. നിങ്ങൾ ഓർത്തിരിക്കുക, ആഫ്റ്റർ കംപ്ലീഷൻ വരെ നമ്മൾ കാത്തിരിക്കേണ്ട. ഒന്ന് എക്സിക്യൂഷൻ തുടങ്ങുമ്പോൾ തന്നെ മറ്റേത് നമ്മൾ ഫെച്ച് ചെയ്യും. സ്പീഡ് ഓഫ് എക്സിക്യൂഷൻ, ത്രൂപുട്ട് വിൽ ഇൻക്രീസ് ഇൻ പൈപ്പ്ലൈൻ എക്സിക്യൂഷൻ നമ്മൾ ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്യും, അത് പറയാവണ്ട. ദെൻ ഇറ്റ് സപ്പോർട്ട് പൈപ്പ്ലൈനിങ്, ഓർത്തിരിക്കുക. Use multi-phase clock that we will discuss, and they have increased clock rate. It's very fast in execution. Pipelining എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ നമുക്കറിയാം, its throughput is increased and it is very fast in execution, 100 to 500 megahertz. Then CPI rate is rather high, which means cycle per instruction is high. In order to execute one instruction, cycle per instruction rate is high in the case of super pipelined processor. Okay. Then regarding last phase, it is about vector supercomputers. Okay, we are familiar with the vector machine. Vector machine means it is processing vector data like our array and all. It's processing with a large amount of data. So thereby a vector supercomputer will have two parts. First one, a scalar part for performing scalar operation, and another vector part for performing vector operation. That you have to remember. Multiple functional unit will be there. Scalar and vector operation can perform. The effective CPI should be very low. Cycle per instruction is very low. Then cost will be high. This is regarding vector supercomputers. Okay. Let's go to the design space of process. Here, we discussed that mostly likely future processor space will be from their clock rate 20 to 1000, which means 20 megahertz to 1000 megahertz. 1000 megahertz means it's fast in execution. And the cycle per instruction may be from 0.1 to 5. There we discuss different architectures include CISC, RISC, superscalar processors, very long instruction word architecture, super pipelined processors, and vector supercomputers. Vector supercomputers. Okay. Intro clear. Anugrah, Dilna, Neha, Raisa, Rasana. Okay, Anugrah. Okay. Now we are discussing about an instruction pipeline. Instruction pipeline. നമ്മൾ നേരത്തെ പറഞ്ഞു first we are fetching one instruction. After execution of this instruction, we are considering next instruction. This is the order of execution in sequential order. ഇനി നമ്മൾ their execution in pipeline we will discuss. So we have to identify different phases involved in an execution of instruction. For instruction execution വരുന്ന different phases that we are naming as fetch, decode, execute, and write back. These are the 4 different stages included in instruction execution. Write down ചെയ്യാം. 4 stages included in instruction execution. So we are familiar with the term fetch. Fetch means instruction already resides in memory. According to von Neumann architecture, instruction and data resides in memory. So in order to execute one instruction, we have to fetch the instruction from the memory. That is known as fetch the instruction. Then after fetching the instruction, we have to decode the instruction. Decode means, suppose instruction will be like add a comma b. Instruction will be like add a comma b. So during decode stage, we will identify the operand, which means, sorry, opcode, which means we have to perform addition. And we have to identify operand. Here we have 2 operand, a comma b. That whole thing we identified in decode stage. So second stage of instruction execution is decode. Okay. Then coming to third stage, it is execution. So after decoding, we will fetch operand from memory or operand from register. Then we have to execute. Here it is addition. We have to execute that operation in arithmetic unit or adder. We are performing execution of that instruction. So after completion of execution, we have to write back the result. So fourth stage is write back. We are writing back the result either in memory or in registers. Chalo operation, intermediate operands, result will be stored in registers, otherwise it in memory. So I am clearing out the screen. In order to execute instruction, we have 4 different stages. First one, fetching the instruction from the memory. Second one, we are identifying what type of instruction or what type of operation we are going to perform. That we identify in decode stage. Then we will perform the execution of the instruction. Maybe an arithmetic operation or maybe a logic operation that we will execute. If it have a result, we have to write back the result into either in memory or in register. Clear? Abhinav, Anaga, Baby Srishma, Ijas, Nafa, Neha. Respond. Thank you, Srishma. Okay. So in coming session, we are scheduling this instruction execution in pipeline structure that we will discuss. Here we identify that here we have different stages. 4 stages we identified. So we will arrange these 4 stages in pipeline order. Okay, we are going to discuss pipeline execution of this instruction. Okay. So this is the diagram representing pipelined execution of an instruction. So here we can see that this is my first instruction. This is my first instruction. So that instruction have different stages. In first clock cycle, fetch take place in. Second clock cycle, decode take place in. Third clock cycle, execution. And fourth clock cycle, it is write back. So here you can see different cycles. First cycle, fetch. Second clock cycle, decode. In third clock cycle, it is executing. In the fourth clock cycle, we are finalizing the result. Result write back take place here. So you could identify that we require one cycle for one operation. So complete execution, it takes 4 clock cycles. In order to complete the execution, it takes 4 clock cycles. But we are executing instruction in pipelining order, which means when we are fetching the instruction, second stage is decoding. During the decoding of first instruction, we are fetching second instruction. Then during the execution of first instruction, we are fetching the third instruction. In the fourth clock cycle, we are fetching the next instruction. But totally, നാല് clock cycle ആകുമ്പോഴേക്കും we are fetching 4 instruction. We are fetching 4 instruction. Clear? Clear? Raisa, Ajmal, Vaishnavi, Vishnu, Vinod. Vaishnavi, Vishnu, Vinod. Something like that. Here we have 4 different stages. First one is fetch, second one is decode, third one is execution, fourth one is write back. First clock cycle, we are fetching the instruction. Second clock cycle, we are decoding. Third clock cycle, we are executing. In fourth clock cycle, we are write back in the result. So when first instruction is decoding, which means in second clock cycle, we are fetching second instruction. When second instruction is decoding, second instruction decoding, then we are fetching the third instruction. Then when the third instruction is decoding, we are fetching the fourth instruction. Fetching the fourth instruction. Thereby, ഓരോ ക്ലോക്ക് സൈക്കിളും നമുക്കുന്നുണ്ട്, ഓരോ ഇൻസ്ട്രക്ഷൻ നമുക്ക് ഫെച്ച് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്നുണ്ട്. എല്ലാ ക്ലോക്ക് സൈക്കിളും നമ്മൾ എന്ത് ചെയ്യുന്നു? ഇൻസ്ട്രക്ഷൻ ഫെച്ച് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. ഓക്കെ, അദ്വൈത്, ഷാരുൺ, സാരംഗ് പ്രേം, സംഗീത്. Okay. Here we have different term. You have to write first one, instruction pipeline cycle. It indicates the clock period of instruction pipeline. It indicates the clock period of instruction pipeline. Raisa, clear ano? Anaga, Anjali, Adul, Baby, Sishma, Devika, Dilna. Okay, Raisa. Then second thing, the term instruction latency. It indicates the time required between issuing of two adjacent instructions. Here we can identify latency as 1 clock cycle, because after issuing first instruction, after the end of first clock cycle, we are issuing next instruction. So instruction latency will be 1. The time required between issuing of two successive instructions is known as instruction latency. Then third term, it is regarding instruction issue rate. Per clock cycle, we have instruction issue. So our example is 1 instruction per cycle. കാരണം ഓരോ ഇൻസ്ട്രക്ഷൻ മാത്രമേ ഒരു ക്ലോക്ക് സൈക്കിളിൽ നമ്മൾ ഇഷ്യൂ ചെയ്യുന്നുള്ളൂ. ബട്ട് ഇൻ ഫ്യൂച്ചർ, when we are discussing with the super scalar architecture, there we will issue more than 2 or more than 3 instructions per clock cycle. So in this diagram, here we are issuing 1 instruction per clock cycle. So instruction issue rate is 1 here. We are issuing 1 instruction per clock cycle. Okay, term clear? I have a question to Kirtana. Kirtana, what is instruction issue rate? Kirtana, what is instruction issue rate? Shraddha, What is instruction issue rate? All dead. Shraddha. Shakala.
Instruction issue per cycle.
Yeah, exactly. Number of instruction. Kirtana, thank you. Number of instruction issue per cycle. Okay. Then coming to simple operation latency. Latency, we identified that it is the delay between two adjacent instruction execution. നമ്മൾ കൊടുക്കുന്ന delay. So simple operation latency also we discussed in the term of number of cycles. Number of cycles. So in order to execute division operation and cache miss, it take more number of clock cycle. ഒന്നുകൂടി പറയാം, operation ചെയ്യാനുള്ള time latency also explained in the terms of number of cycles. So if we are doing a division operation or we are facing a cache miss, then we declare more number of clock cycles. Clock cycle ആണല്ലോ നമ്മൾ ടൈമിലേക്ക് മാപ്പ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. ടൈം ആണ് ഈ ക്ലോക്ക് സൈക്കിൾ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. So if there is a chance of cache miss, we require more clock cycle to solve that problem. For performing a division operation, we require more clock cycle. But in the case of simple operation like integer add, load, store, it takes less number of clock cycles. Maybe one clock cycle for performing integer add, one clock cycle for load, etc. So that is regarding operation latency. Operation latency that we discussed in the terms of number of cycle required in order to perform division and cache miss. Okay, face we will take more number of clock cycle. But in order to perform simple operation like integer addition, load, store operation, we require only one clock cycle. Clear? Vishnu, Vinod, Riswin, Neha, Nafa. Nafa, on the respond is Nafa. Riswin, thank you. Nafa. Then the last term is resource conflict. We are very much familiar with the term conflict. When two or more instructions demand for the same functional unit, that is known as conflict. Conflict means during execution, when two or more instructions demand the use of the same functional unit. Number of resources is less here and more instructions are looking for same resource. When more instructions are looking for same resource, it will go for the condition like resource conflict. Clear? Raisa, clear? Shraddha, Abhinandam C, Anjali, Anjita. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Raisa. Okay. Then this diagram we discussed. Okay. So we discussed about latency, issue rate and all. So this diagram indicating another representation. Here our latency is 2, which means each instruction execution, instruction fetch take place after 2 clock cycles. In previous diagram, it is 1 clock cycle. Here it is 2 clock cycle, which means after completion of 2 clock cycle, we are fetching next instruction. Then after 2 clock cycle, we are fetching next instruction. Then after 2 clock cycle, we are fetching next instruction. So instruction issue rate also, instruction issue rate എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് എത്രയാ? 1 ആണ്. Only one instruction per കൊടുക്കുന്നുള്ളൂ. പക്ഷെ latency between two successive issue of instruction is 2. Clear? Clear? Clear അല്ലേ? ഡയഗ്രാം നോട്ട്സിലും ഉണ്ട്, നിങ്ങൾക്ക് പെട്ടെന്ന് മനസ്സിലാവും. In the previous diagram, നിങ്ങൾ നോക്കുക, previous diagram, here issue rate is on one instruction per clock cycle. Then it will take only 1 clock cycle for next successive issue. But in the second diagram, issue rate 1 തന്നെയാണ്, but it will take 2 clock cycle. 2 clock cycle കഴിഞ്ഞാലേ നമുക്ക് എന്ത് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്നുള്ളൂ? ഇൻസ്ട്രക്ഷൻ ഇഷ്യൂ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്നുള്ളൂ. Okay. This is an example for under pipelined situation. We are not utilizing pipeline. Under pipelined situation, we are explaining. Under pipelined situation. We are explaining under pipeline situation. Okay. Then I will end with this simple architecture. You people are familiar with the normal instruction set architecture of a computer. ഇത് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് അറിയാവുന്നതാണ്. ഇത് വെച്ച് wind up ചെയ്യാം. I am discussing normal instruction set architecture for a computer. This is an example for a scalar processor. Write down. It's an example for scalar processor. I take a screenshot. Take a screenshot. There you can see our ALU is located here, connected with the two buses. Memory is connected with the external bus or all other components connected in internal bus. Here we have program counter. You are familiar with the program counter. We have instruction register, status word register, processor status word registers are there. Internal bus, some registers. Then controller unit. Control unit either maybe a micro programmed control unit or control unit or hardware control unit. This control unit generate signal for managing different operation inside the CPU. Okay, this is a simple diagram explaining the architecture of architecture of scalar processor. We are discussing about data path architecture and control unit of a scalar processor. Control unit of a scalar processor. Orthirika, main components of a scalar processor include, there will be a memory. ഇവിടെയാണ് മെമ്മറി ഉണ്ടാവുക. എക്സ്റ്റേണൽ മെമ്മറി ആയിട്ട് കമ്മ്യൂണിക്കേറ്റ് ചെയ്യാം. Here we have external bus. Then memory address register. അഡ്രസ്സിനെ മാനേജ് ചെയ്യാൻ MAR. Memory address register will be there. Data manage and there will be memory data registers. Then normal program counter. Execution address will, next instruction address stored in the PC ലാണ്. Then fetched instruction resides in instruction register. ALU perform the operation. ഇയാളാണ് ALU. Then processor status word. ഇതിന്റെ status after operation of the save and status word registers will be there. We have other registers AX, BX, CX എന്നൊക്കെ പറയുന്ന all registers will be there. Then definitely there will be a control unit which generate control signal for performing different operations in the CPU. This is the normal data path architecture for a scalar processor. Okay, so we are winding up here. Clear ആണെന്ന് കരുതുന്നു. Next class onwards, we will start discussing regarding RISC architecture, CISC architecture, etc. Okay. Respond